Welcome back. So today's video, we're going to be talking about why you need to focus on the basics and get away from the idea that you need to really be thinking about complex and exciting type things in order to progress with your fitness or realistically with anything that you're trying to achieve. Now, at the moment, the Olympics are on, and a lot of people look to Olympic athletes and people at this level and they sort of think, well, they must be doing something special. But 90% of what these people do is just doing the basics over and over again and just doing the basics extremely well. They're not doing anything mystical or magical a lot of the time. They're just spending a lot of time doing the basics repetitively. Now, you'll find this in a lot of different fields of, when people excel. The special forces of the military, very same sort of situation where you'll hear them say very similar things where they're not necessarily doing anything magical or mystical. They're just practicing those fundamentals over and over and over again to the point where they're exceptionally good at it. And so when it comes to trying to get fitter, trying to get better, trying to lose some weight, all those sorts of things, it's very tempting to focus on these ideas of, well, maybe if I went carnivore, maybe if I went keto, maybe if I went vegan, maybe if I went any type of diet or some sort of crazy exercise regime, that would be the solution to my problem. But what most people do who stay fit for the long term is simply practice the fundamentals and focus on them before worrying about everything else. And if you don't have those fundamentals in place, if you don't have the real foundation to build from, then nothing special can really work on top of that anyway. And so the fundamentals are basically going to be exercising on a regular basis. If you aren't exercising 3, 4, 5 days a week for 30 to 60 minutes as a bare minimum, regardless of what activity, there's better and worse activities to do, of course, but if you aren't at minimum doing that, and you aren't doing that as a habit within your life, then that's what you need to focus on before you're worried about everything else. Now, the same with your nutrition. If you're looking at your nutrition and worrying about, is it perfectly optimal? It's the same problem. Are you eating a reasonable portion of food? Are you eating mostly whole foods, mostly good foods, and controlling your portion size? Getting that in as a fundamental before you worry about everything else. Are you sleeping properly? Are you recovering well? Are you getting 7 hours of sleep every night? Those three things alone, working out, getting the proper food in, getting some proper sleep and recovery. If you aren't doing those things already, then no amount of supplements, no amount of crazy diets, no amount of crazy workout regimes are going to help, because those fundamentals are not in place to ensure that you progress and that you get somewhere with your fitness. And so a lot of people, when they run into difficult situations, this is when they also fall away from these fundamentals, and that they didn't have to do anything crazy. They just had to continue trying to focus on those fundamentals in that new environment. So I've been traveling a little bit more than usual lately, and it's the same thing in my mind. It's not optimal. It's not the most ideal situation to be in, but I can still get the fundamentals in. I might not be doing the exact same workout that I would do if I had access to a gym, but I can still get out and do a 30 or 60-minute walk or run or do some push-ups or do something like that. I can still eat properly. I can still make better choices. They might not be the most optimal. They might not be the most optimal that I could possibly get, but they're still a lot better than just eating garbage every day. So when you're looking to get fitter, when you're looking to build your capacity and your physical resilience, you really need to focus on building the fundamentals at any cost, because that is what's going to set you up for the long-term success. It's not going to be something crazy. It's not going to be something super exciting. It's going to be working out how you can make sure each day you're focusing on the fundamentals.